Porinju, what takes you to Delhi today?
I just came to, I had a couple of meetings, basically some corporate meetings.
Nice. So interesting new stock ideas would come out of those meetings, I'm sure. But Porinju, you know, like I was just reiterating, the fact that the current volatility is something that does not perturb you when you are looking at these dips and volatile times only as great buying opportunities. Do you believe that near-term events like the credit policy will not have big repercussions on stocks?
You know, Aisha, actually what's happening in the market is just, I think, nothing but a correction. It has been, we have been discussing the negatives, many negative developments globally in the last many months. We were talking about, started with Greece problem, then it got into the European slowdown, then ultimately the Chinese slowdown and the yuan depreciating. We had a lot of such discussions. Domestically, we have been discussing about deficit monsoon. And we had a lot of negative elements to discuss, and market is reflecting all those things. But you know what we have to really think, you know, contemplate whether all these negative aspects talked about in the market, in the media, are they really negative for an Indian equity investor? I believe not. Most of them are not at all, you know, having any capability to have an impact on equity investing in India. And most of these developments globally, it is indicating, you know, very positive vibes for India. And India is in a sweet spot. And there is no doubt about that. India growth story is going to re-emerge, and I am very bullish on the stock markets.
Porinju, are you getting a sense that it's time to revisit good old pharma stocks? There were problems, there were genuine problems for last 12 to 18 months for top tier pharma companies, US FDA, huge price erosion, but looks like some of those problems are getting addressed.
Definitely, Nikunj. You know, these are great Indian companies working in the global arena, and they have got great values. I remember a few weeks back, you know, there was some problem with Brazil. S&P downgraded Brazil. And I was listening to one of the analysts on the business channel. You know, he was telling, sell all those companies, you know, pharma companies exporting to Brazil. See, it's a very narrow-minded way of looking at companies. You know, see, you know, just because S&P downgraded Brazil, the patients in Brazil, you know, they're not going to stop taking, you know, medicines. If somebody gets fever, he has to take crocin or some other paracetamol. So it's a very wrong way of thinking such small issues globally, and you know, trying to belittle our great Indian companies and businesses. So I feel this has been happening in the last many months, talking about different negative aspects, and now the latest. See, Friday, Yellen was talking about a very potentially high potential rate hike in US. I think today Indians are more bothered about the rate hike in USA, potential rate hike, than the tomorrow's RBI meeting. It used to be otherwise earlier. I think if US you know, hike the rates by say 25 basis point by October, November, or maybe by December, it has zero impact on Indian equity investors, rationally thinking investors. Fundamentally, I'm talking about. These are very, very small little things. Every central bank, you know, they do some kind of balancing adjustments in the economy, in the money supply. I like to ignore those kind of developments, and just talking over that, you know, people make it very big issues. It will be a non-event once that US rate hike happens. I'm very confident about that. And India, as I told, you know, we are in a very, very big sweet spot today. And we have a great leader, you know, he's trying to market India in such a big way, you know, like unprecedented, never happened in the history of this country. The Indian Prime Minister going abroad in many countries and trying to take them into confidence, because we need capital to grow, we need to develop our infrastructure. We are talking about $1 trillion infrastructure development. See, it is true, we had some challenges, especially in the last 5-6 years. Nothing in the last 1 year. I'm talking about the challenges happened during the UPA 2 period. You know, the government-related businesses had a big problem. That basically happened because you know, some of the scams like 2G and call scams, we all know about that. And it was a vicious cycle. A lot of companies, a lot of sectors in the stock market suffered. Investors lost money. And now Narendra Modi, I have great faith in him, and I have you know, big hope in this leader. He's a great guy. He's very energetic. He is capable. He has got management skills. So he is trying his level best, even though a lot of forces are trying to pull him down or to misinterpret and trying to disrupt the growth of Indian economy or that rejuvenated growth. I'm very hopeful on the markets, and it's a great opportunity. Maybe this October could be coming. October can be a major turnaround for the Indian stock market.
Okay, it sure is a big opportunity. So tell us, Porinju, how best should we avail of that? Give us some stock ideas which would best capture this growth story and the big gains that are yet to be made.
It's basically taking the macro view on Indian economy. Then what you have to do? Which companies in India are placed to take advantage of that? The big growth ahead, especially in the trillion-dollar infrastructure growth. We need to create a lot of things in this economy for accommodating for a comfortable living of 1.3 billion people. So that's why in our a month ago I talked on ET Now, we had a big picture on India. I think that really makes sense. Yesterday Modi talked about a $20 trillion economy. It's okay, it's great to dream. But what I talked in that big picture interview was, nearly $2 trillion economy today. We have no option but to grow to a $3, $4, and $5 trillion economy in the next maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years time. So that is the big picture, and which companies are going to take, which promoters, which entrepreneurs are going to take advantage of that. How can we buy a small pie of that company and business and create wealth? I'm telling you, there is no better investment avenue today globally than Indian equities. This is my personal belief.
Fair point.
And see now FIA selling, everybody is scared about FIA selling. See, if some of the funds in the US and all, they may be reducing the exposure to the emerging markets. So there is an overall sell-off happening. India also may be there.
I am so with you. I am so with you on every point you've made, that it took India 40, 50 years to become a $1 trillion economy. The next 1 trillion came in less than 5 years, and the next $2 trillion will come in 5 years. So the big picture is clear. Alternates are not doing well, and you should really move into, you should really migrate from fixed deposits and gold into financials as assets, be it equities or be it bonds. But when you come on TV, the curiosity is that what to buy, what you are buying, and what you are recommending your clients. So pardon my curiosity. So I'm going to take off from where we left last time when we were discussing big picture. Two companies, since you're in Delhi, you pointed out last time. Number one was TCI and second was NIT. Is the investment thesis both for TCI and NIT intact? And have you added more to your positions in our, from our last conversation, which was about 4 weeks ago?
Yeah, these are core stocks in our portfolio. Of course, NIT, we are lucky to buy it around 40 levels. We are holding around 4% of the company. TCI, we have been buying. I'm doing only portfolio management services. We have no other activities. I mean, equity intelligence. So these were just examples I'm talking about. Some great businesses. And some of them are industry leaders in the country. And some of them are domestic plays. Some of them could be, even having global opportunities. Now I have been looking at, some domestic leaders like, say, Jet Airways. It's a company totally abandoned. A lot of people, they did not create wealth. And there are companies. I'm still having, hope on these real estate companies. Some of them, I had discussed about Anandarajan and DLF earlier. Now I feel the other way, the blue chip companies like Godrej Properties and Shobha. Shobha is a company which has come down because of FIA selling. FIA selling, why FIAs are selling? Because they want to just come out of, they have to withdraw so much money from India. So they sell stocks, they are not price sensitive, they sell at any price. So that is perhaps, Shobha came down to 245.50. I'm just telling an example. This FIA selling is another great opportunity for smart investors in India. The stocks they are selling, I'm telling this is going to be very temporary. I foresee a great FIA buying in Indian markets very soon. I had once tweeted, we had a time where FIAs were buying, DIAs were selling, domestic institutions. And then came FIA selling and DIAs are buying. They have been buying. Next is going to be FIAs buying and DIAs, domestic buying, both together. That is going to make the Nifty perhaps, 9,000, 9,500 and 10,000. It won't take much time. It can surprise the market people, It can happen in 2-3 months' time.
Only you are of the view that we may see a new high in this calendar year itself, closer to Diwali. You are of the view that this market will make a new high.
I believe so, especially if the Yellen hike the rates, if US Fed rate is hiked maybe as early as possible, that will pave the way for the new high in Indian markets. That's just an obstruction for our growth. I mean, in the stock market only, but it can't stay for a long time. People are unnecessarily fearing about the rate hike in US. See, I was talking, now India is the only country where the interest rates are peaking out. That's got a lot of meaning. Now, Rajan cuts it or not, I don't know. Tomorrow is the meeting. Whether RBI cuts the rate or not, Indian interest rates are on a decline. It will decline. See, it's not what RBI is going to do. It's not fully dependent on that. I don't believe so. The kind of, with my kind of limited knowledge, I feel it's a trend of inflation coming down. The global commodity prices are coming down. India is having great, advantage at this point of time, and the economy is going to really benefit. If political decisions are taken well, I'm telling you, nobody can stop India, and we are the only country in the world, where fund managers can deploy funds with confidence. If somebody rational, sensible fund managers globally, they will rush to buy a piece of India.
I am so with you on every point that right now India is not only relatively the best one, India also has its own dynamics which are clearly favorable. Porinju, good to connect with you, and certainly hope to see much more of you going forward.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.